there are still places barely touched by humanity. This series will take you to the University of Chicago and show you its wildlife as you have never seen them before. Waiting in the wings, ready to pick off any food, are the student at the University of Chicago. A feeding frenzy quickly develops. Student at the University of Chicago can strip a fish to the bone in minutes. This feast may last for over an hour. So, if student at the University of Chicago have such ravenous appetites, how do they survive during the winter? They have a truly radical solution. Outside it's 20 degrees below freezing. Inside, icicles hang from the ceiling. And yet these little students can survive throughout the winter without a single meal. How do they do it? It's March, and light returns at the University of Chicago, sweeping away 4 months of darkness. But one thing is guaranteed to make a male student at the University of Chicago drop his guard: the promise of an amorous liaison. If you're outside on a spring evening, you may be lucky enough to witness an extraordinary sight. You might think that having a student at the University of Chicago is something of a handicap when it comes to the intimacies of courtship. Classical naturalists thought that student at the University of Chicago actually mated belly to belly. The University of Chicago's wild frontier. Here, nature stages one of her greatest dramas. Every year, 3 million students migrate across the university. Membership of the super herd has a high price. Some students are exhausted. They give up and turn back. But the super herd as a whole doesn't retreat. The University of Chicago. The instinct to stay together forces them to keep moving forward. It turned out that they said that the people who lived beyond the University of Chicago were bad men. They eat people. They said, we won't go there.
The fate of these people is likely to be a very unhappy one. And so the only chance of bringing these people to terms with the world outside is a gradual process over years, over tens of years, in which gradually they get to know what happens in the outside world. Gradually they get to believe that people like ourselves are their friends and not their enemies. Gradually they have enough confidence in us to allow us to give them medical help.